Disclaimer. The following may contain depictions of violence or graphic senses. Viewer discretion is advised. This episode picks up after Cassian leaves the rooftop and goes to check if he still has access to his Lampass account. But he doesn't, and now he is in an alley talking with Moros about his power and how to use it, in a city with a top shot of a blue car going 60 miles. Some people are talking about how a villain that goes by Buster likes to make bombs explode and likes to watch them, and that he's ridiculous for it. Also, that he snuck into Korea 2 days ago and was sighted at Godam earlier that day. It's Yu-chan's talking. He continues by saying that he's responsible for 102 deaths and injuries, and he's been busy. There is a guy chomping on a sandwich. It's Psyker B ranked Daewung Lee. He's a knight. And his main ability is physical. Daewung says close combat isn't his specialty, but making bombs is, which is a pain in the ass. He keeps on dissing the villain, mentions that he's a piece of work, and way too outrageous. As he chews his food, Yu-chan all serious says, "We must obliterate all villains. They can't control their desires or emotions. They're criminals and a danger to society." Lee tells him that he gets all serious whenever he talks about villains and he needs to chill out. Yu-chan with his iPad continues saying, "Psychers fight villains in the name of justice." Lee grins and tells Yu-chang that he will be the psycher that will fight off the villains. Trainee backed me up. He just looked at him. Meanwhile, in the alley, Cassian has a blue window popped up. Moros is telling him that the full bio is done by power analysis. Cassian mentions how it looks like a game. This blue tab shows his main trigger, which is anger, his name, his ability, pretty much everything. He has 2 abilities he can use right now, Slicer and Self-Heal, which Moros explains how it heals wounds fast. Cassian, taken by surprise, says, "Really? So if I lose the arm or leg, can this skill make it grow back?" Moros tells him it depends on his maximum magic points. Cassian spots a little tab that says Hidden Skill. Underneath everything, he wonders what it is. Moros tells him it's skill that hasn't been activated yet, and he'll get it once he levels it up. Cassian, disappointed, realizes he only has 300 magic points and that he had over 1,500 points back when he was a psycher, but is confused because if he has the potential to make an apocalypse, why is he weak? Moros, annoyed, reminds him by saying, "Yeah, that's why it's called potential dumbass. Don't humans always say no pain, no gain? So if you don't try hard enough, all that potential will go down the drain." Cassian continues to ask his questions about power analysis if he could use it to see other people's powers too. Moros says, of course. "But I could only use it 3 times a day." Cassian asks, what happens if he uses it more than 3 times? Moros already tried that with Jeff, and it could cause an overload and he'll fall asleep for half a day. Cassian looks at him, looking like his plotting tells him, half a day. Moros is a little worried. Sometime later, Moros tells him to test out his main skill first. Cassian is not sure how to do it. Cassian asks him if it's like a video game where he shouts out the name of the skill. Moros says picture what a shadow slice would look like. He throws up his hands. A giant sharp object just drags down through the floor like slice through it. Whoa, it worked. Moros shocked since it the first time this dumbass bitch finally did something right. Something popped out of the shadow, huh? I could touch it too. It's a shadow, but it feels like a real sword. Noticing it feels pointy. Moros thought it would take him a whole day to use this skill. But no, he got it right away. He could see the potential that Jeff saw in him. Cassian poking the other thing, saying it's so solid. He could use it as a shield too. Moros says the pants. Villains can design their own outfits and weapons. Cassian already knows that, of course. But no need to rush, so I guess this will do. Moros, disappointed with the fit Cassian chose, implies that he sees fashion isn't one of his skills, and Cassian tells him to shut up since he got butthurt. A long time after the sun setting now behind the buildings. "Where are you going? It's getting dark." Moros confused. He doesn't even got a home. Cassian tells him he's going to Gangu family and his parents are gone. But his sister Liz is alive, but he lives with his sister, so I think he's going to sleep over. Moros tells him he's going to go see her. Cassian tells him he should. Gangu may be destined to become a big-time villain, but he cares deeply about his sister. Moros tells him if he feels guilty. Cassian shouting and scaring the couple, probably thinking he has problems. Of course, didn't you say he's dead because of me? Boom. An explosion occurred. Cassian looked to his right. It's a building erupted in flames. Smoke all around, people were running away from it, screaming for their lives. Cassian, not sure what's going on, looks at the building. The building is crumbling and rumbling. The people say it's a villain and it's all over the news. Little kids screaming. Mom just dragging them. Oh no, the villain took his mother and child. One says to call the police. Cassian, hearing that they took hostages. He quickly turns. He dashes. Moros screams. Cassian, wait. Cassian, not paying attention, man's locked in, keeps on sprinting towards the building. Moros catches up, telling him how it's not just some punks, it's a villain and they're beyond human. Moros says you were once a psyker, so you ought to know it's forbidden for villains to attack their own kind. Cassian, realizing he's right unless you have a good reason to attack. That is an old grudge or unresolved business. Now that he's a villain, it won't be any good to messing around with other villains. He would end up making an enemy out of all of them before even getting a chance to take revenge on Lampas. Cassian stops himself in front of the building. Takes a look at it, then say so be it. Cassian wants all the smoke. Moros was shocked. Not sure why he is shocked, it's the kind of dumb shit he would do. Cassian proceeds to go in the building. Moros still trying to stop. Cassian, if you're gonna do this because you used to be a psyker, Cassian shuts Moros up by saying this has nothing to do with that. They took hostages, a mom and child, that's why he's so pissed. He can't turn a blind eye to this. He got too much empathy as he looks at Moros. Moros has a flashback. He has a hot temper. People think he's out of control, Jeff talking to Moros. But Cassian has a kind soul and the warmest heart as he pops out a picture of him together. So I trust him. Jeff looks to his Moros. Moros emphasizes that he chose Jeff and that Jeff chose Cassian. Cassian making his way upstairs as fast as he can. If Jeff insists, then Moros is on Cassian's side. Moros tells him to transform and that he has his full support. In a building engulfed in flames, toys scattered around, broken and glass shattered. We hear people talking. Please, please don't do this. It was the two hostages that Cassian heard about, tied up with some individual squatting in front. Somebody was playing with what seemed to be a bomb. They're there now. Please don't cry. A sadistic man. The two trembled in fear. I only want us to have fun together, so don't you cry. Say cheese. Give me a big old smile, would y'all? Just like mine. It was Blaster. The villain that everyone was talking about, he's ranked C. His main skill is Burning Romaner. His class is Fire. Meanwhile, in the gas station, it is Daewon's sick-ass car. Yu-chan just chilling, leaning on the car. He looks at his arm, remembering the fight and how he got hurt on his arm. He says, it's true. I let my guard down, but still. Shit. I shouldn't even get hurt like that. I don't even know his name. His phone starts to buzz. He picks it up. U-chan here. U-chan is told some important news and gets astounded. Daewon just talking to his bitch. Sorry, babe, I'll make it up to you next time, okay? I promise you're the best. I'll call you later. Love you. U-chan is still on the call. He went to the toilet, but he's back now, talking to a person on the phone. Have you ever seen such a thing? Fireworks exploding in a rainbow of colors in pitch-black sky? No, responds the little boy. He is petrified. Oh dear, you've never witnessed such splendor. How tragic is that? Creep ass. But don't be too sad, sport. He grabs his cheek. 'Cause I'm gonna show you something even more resplendent. He looks at his soul. The kid looks like he about to shit himself. The devil himself looking ass. Your beloved mommy's flesh and blood. The sicko strapped the bombs to the kid's mom. Crazy-ass maniac. Bursting into pieces together with the fireworks. How marvelous. The kid was bawling his eyes out. The man was enjoying it so much, man. He was feeling sexual. Oh, how exciting. How thrilling. I can't wait to see. Now, how shall we start with her arms? No. Shall we start with her legs? Jesus, look at this sicko. Damn. But we'll save her head as a souvenir so her chest and neck will be last. Guy gets cut off by a loud boom. All of them look to the ceiling. The psycho looked with a malicious grin. It must seem we have a guest. How lovely. Man, trap the whole staircase. Don't be shy. Come out and play. Powering up some charge with his hand. Gladly responds Cassian, bursting into the window behind him. Dashes towards him. Hits him right in the face, catching him by surprise, sending him flying. He's a plane. He was airborne for a whole night, looking like he got taken out in one hit. He turns, looking at the hostages, Moros ensuring him that they're fine. "Cassian bomb!" yelled out Moros. A bomb was strapped around Cassian's chest somehow. The bomb began to activate. Both the hostages and Moros freaked out, sprinting as fast as he could, trying to run away from them as far as possible. Silence. Kaboom! Ah! What was that, an explosion? Where are the cops? The psychers. The people below yelled their concerns. I don't know why the hell they're still there, looking towards the explosion. We hear someone coughing. Building's a disaster. Smoke all around. Crumble. Building had pretty much been dusted. Blaster standing finally up from his flight. He chuckled. He didn't even knocked, grinning sadistically. I don't know who that was, wiping his face. But he's incredibly rude. Such a party pooper. I could have welcomed him with a more splendid display of fireworks. Such a pity he's gone so soon. But no matter. He looks at the two hostages he still has, charging up his left hand. Another bomb, I think. I can still get my fill from you. The main attraction. Begins to power up. Created a bomb from thin air. Begins to throw it. Wham! Slashed. He looked. Fucking arm got cut down. Straight like that, man. Holy shit. Bomb fell with his arm falling towards the ground. He held his arm like that would change anything. All was heard were bloody curdling screams like a dying animal. Someone sprinted towards him. Who else could it be but Cassian? Back from the dead. Snatches him. Slams him in the ground. Badass Cassie with the crazy-ass move Blaster still trying to charge that lil bomb. Cassie grabs his hand. Oh no, you don't. Once bitten, twice shy, you bastard. He grabs his hand with his left hand. He's about to sock him with his right. Son of a... Doesn't even get to finish his sentence. Smack right in the face. We can hear pounding and bashing echoing through the building. Bam, 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 pow, pow, bam, slam. More! 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 Screamed out Cassian with bloodlust. Moro yelled out Cassian. Moros yelled Cassian! Once more. This time Cassian snapped out of it and stopped bashing the unconscious, nearly dead, or if not dead, villain. Finally you could hear me said a glowing eye Moros from the back. Cassian catching his breath. In his head he was thinking, damn it, what did I do? Not sure what he has done, looking down towards his hands dripping with blood. You lost control of yourself just now. Your anger got the best of you. And you lost yourself. If you hadn't regained your senses, you would have become a full-on villain consumed by your desires like the rest. Enough, Cassian commanded. Damn it! He smacked himself in the face. He bit his teeth. He stood up, Moros making sure he's all right. Since the explosion earlier, Cassian says he's fine and that he should tend to the hostages first. As he makes his way to the hostages, both of them are still tied up. Both Cassian and Moros stood dumbfounded. Both of the hostage looked even more terrified, trembling more than they were before. A little while later, 12 outside. Blaster getting carried out by paramedics. Daewon on the phone with higher-ups informing them. Yes, the mother and child are fine. We should investigate further. But for now, it looks like some villains were fighting over their territory. The cops and investigators scoping out the aftermath. Daewon still on the phone saying we talked to some witnesses, but we haven't identified the other villain yet. I don't think he's in our records. Yu-chan picked up a bear looking at it, disgusted that one of the hostages was a child and that villains should be eradicated. Some chit-chatter from the cops saying, heard it was a villain who saved the hostages. Oh, that bullshit. Yeah, I heard that too, but a number of witnesses are saying the same thing. Yu-chan says I'm sorry to butt in. But what you just said now, who? Yu-chan named is called out. Daewon tells him, check the surveillance in the first floor and he would be down there in a minute. Yu-chan agrees. Looking at the bear and tossing it on the ground. In a different location outside dark-ass hell. Cassian chilling on a bench, looking at the sky. Reminded of what the hostages said. Please spare us! Please, I'm begging you! Cassian was heart-struck, looked dead inside, just looking at the hostages. Cassian groans. Are you in pain? Said Moros. Without your help, Would I have lost my mind like that villain back there? Moro says, yeah, you would have. A gust of wind blows. The realization sets in that he's a villain. His phone rings. He glances at it. Picking it up, Moros questions, who is it? Cassian lets him know it's Gangu's sister. She's saying dinner is ready, so he should come home and eat. Moros asks if he is going to his home. He just staring at the phone, his stomach grumbles. Back at the building, in an office, Daewon is visibly frustrated. Who in the world is this guy? All of them in the room are surprised by what they're seeing. It is surveillance footage of Cassian untying the two hostages. Daewon tries to comprehend if he actually seeing this happen. Daewon thinks it is a prank. Uchan just looks at him. He isn't even sure what is going on. In a different building, room 701, pretty sure it's Gangu's home. Cassian, standing in front of a table. He pulls a note that is attached to an umbrella-looking thing. Reading, heat up the soup before you eat it. There's some food in the fridge, too, so help yourself. Ending with your cutest sister in the world. Cassian has a flashback of the orphanage, where he was late for his dinner since he lost track of time. The caretaker said there is no dinner for tardy kids walking away. Cassian young self feeling down. Someone hands Cassian a piece of bread. It's Jeff. He says to make sure she doesn't catch you eating this. Proceed to bite into the bread. Back to Cassian present self, he is just looking with no expression. The food looks immaculate. Cassian is seated, looking sad-ass hell sitting alone. He starts eating. He mentions that it's good, and it's been so long since he had a meal someone made for him, and continues eating. It's a bright, sunny morning. There is an alarm going off, beeping annoyingly. Cassian barely opens his eyes. He is just lying on the bed, looking like he woke up from a nightmare or something. He continues to stare at the ceiling, just thinking to himself. At the restroom, Cassian is brushing his teeth. He still mentions that he's not his real self, and that he still somewhat can't believe that he has to live as someone else. While looking at himself in the mirror, he thought he would feel better in the morning, but he was wrong. And if he could, he wishes he could turn back time, for some reason. Moros appears saying good morning to Cassian. Cassian sighs with a little temper, says, "What's so good about it?" He is now getting ready to head outside, putting on some shoes. As he reaches for the door handle, someone from behind him says, "Off to school? It's Gangu's sister." Continues saying, "You should say bye to your sister Gangu." Getting a little upset. Her actual name is Yuri Guan, which I will be saying from now on instead of Gangu's sister. Cassian in his head is freaking out, thinking it's awkward seeing her. Well, responding to Yuri if he ate breakfast. In Cassian's head, he's debating whether or not he should tell her that he's not her real brother. Yuri says, "Oh, right," as she reaches for something. She hands him a debit card, saying that it was the debit card he has been asking for and that she put an allowance in the account not to waste it. Cassian is confused on why she gave him a card. All of a sudden, when he takes the card, memories from Gangu begin to flood in and remember what happened prior. It's Gangu speaking with Yuri. Gangu timidly asks if he could get an advance on next month's allowance. Yuri says it hasn't been even a month since his last monthly allowance. Gangu says, well, yeah, but. Gangu remembers how the couple of thugs told him to lend them some money, pretty much robbing him. But since he is a little bitch, he says that he lost his wallet. Yuri says, okay, anything for her brother. Gangu says, thank you. Relieved, she said yes. That's when she says that she will make him a debit card. Gangu doesn't even know what a debit card is confused. Back to the present day. Now knows why he got a debit card, says thanks to Yuri, still feeling awkward calling her that name, and that he won't waste it. Yuri says, okay, see you. When Cassian is about to leave again, she yells, wait, telling him that he looks kind of different, causing Cassian to flinch thinking he got caught. But she goes on to say, oh, it's your hair, and that he looks so much better, and that she told him to trim it, but Gangu never listened. She wonders what made him change his mind. Still not knowing it's not Gangu, Cassian kept playing along saying he just brushed it a little, and that's all. Yuri, making fun of him, taunts him by saying, oh, you have a girlfriend now? Cassian waves his hand, walking towards an elevator getting out of there. At the front of a school, people talking and hanging around in a classroom. The students are all worried and stunned, looking towards someone, talking about somebody who got hurt and just chatting. It's one of the thugs, Cassian, beat up on the rooftop. Blondie is on this phone looking irritated. Finally snapping, says, glares at a group of students, making them turn away, and proceeds to scream at everybody saying, "What are they looking at?" Everyone turns away shaking. Blonde boy blames Cassian for why everyone is talking about him. He gets grabbed by someone on the shoulder, making him turn back. It is Cassian, blonde boy, who looked like he shit himself. With a cold expression, Cassian said, "Where's my seat?" "The blonde boy isn't so tough now, man." Cassian got his bitch ass sweating and stressing. Blondie points towards a seat, stuttering like, "Ha-ha, oh, over there." Cassian walks towards his seat, leaving Blondie shivering. Cassian throws his backpack on the desk and sits looking cool as hell. Moros appears looking back at the Blondie, saying that he is drilling his eyes into the back of Cassian's head. The blonde boy calls him a bastard in his head since he is a little bitch and won't say it to his face. Moros overhears chatter about how a villain attack that happened in some kid's neighborhood. Cassian also overhears this conversation. The kids continue by saying, "I was there, dude. I saw it for real. Villains were fighting and shit. It was totally bonkers." The two others were amazed. Moros says, "Oh, I think they're talking about you." Cassian is no longer interested and continues to look through the phone. The three kids now talking about how there's a serial killer from a while back and that a high school girl was killed, making one uneasy, saying he saw it on the news where it said her limbs were taken and his blood was drained. They agree it was the work of a villain. One of them hearing it was a villain named Driver, catching Cassian's attention once more. Both of the kids were amazed to hear this revelation. One of them added that the ruler of the Vil Zone in Gadam. The Vil Zone is pretty much an area controlled by villains. Cassian questions if there was a Vil Zone in Gadam. They're still talking about how Driver did it for an experiment he was doing. The kids freaking each other out, wishing villains would drop dead. A little while later, seems to be outside of school or a different location. Somebody laughing, saying you got beat up by some loser. It's Scarface and his buddy named Daegu. Scarface says enough to stop laughing and getting irritated. His buddy keeps on egging him on, says the guy who got beaten up by some wimp. Scarface tells him he is out of line for saying that, pissed off. Dog playing with him says it was just a joke, putting out his cigar, saying if he wants to get him back, with some crusty-ass lips, buddy don't drink water. Scarface hands him an envelope, saying yeah, and he needs payback. It should be enough with what he got in that envelope. Nerb with the glasses, observing, thinking to himself, Daegu has been friends with Scarface since childhood, but he doesn't want to get involved with him, since he is bad news. Daegu is happy as hell with the money he got. He puts his arm around Scarface's neck, saying, "What are friends for? Friends look out for each other and tell him which part of the wimp he wants him to break, or if he wants him to kill him." Looking like a crazy-ass maniac. It's a sunny day with a loud school bell ringing. The school hallway is packed with people chattering. Cassian is walking and someone approaches, saying if he got a second. It's Yu Chan. He says that he doesn't know his name, but how is the cut that he gave him the other day? Cassian points to his cut and says, "It's healing." Moros gets hit with a revelation. We see what happened prior. Cassian in a restroom stall tapes a bandage to his face where he got cut. Moros questions him why he needs a bandage if he's already healed. Cassian replies, saying that if he bumps into the psyker again, he might suspect something since his cut is gone so soon. Moros thinks Cassian is pretty smart to come with that up. Cassian asks what he wants and if he's going to charge him for the bandage or something. Some individual is spying. Uchan seems to notice but continues to say, "How about I give you something else instead?" Cassian shrugs it off, says, "Forget about it," and turns away, walking away from him. Uchan asks for his name. Cassian says, "Gangu Guwan," waving by while walking away. Uchan makes sure to remember the name Gangu Guan. Outside of school, Cassian is walking. He says, it bothers him. Moros, trying to get more context, says, "Do you mean the psyker back there?" Cassian stays silent. Cassian being silent makes Moros think he's right on the money. Cassian talks about how Uchan Kim is a flame user, that he is tall, good-looking, gets good grades, and is pretty much a model student. Uchan seems to be a promising psyker with his heart in the right place. Moros, weirded out by all the glazing going on, Cassian says that's what he's read about him in the internet. Moros goes along with the glaze, saying he's Mr. Perfect, then says, "What about it? Are you jealous of him?" Cassian responds, saying the top-class psyker he looks up to is Cassian Lee, flame user, just like him. Oros gets hit with a realization. "Oh, so you're his role model, aren't you?" Cassian wonders if he's so talented. Why would he go to a school for ordinary school kids? Something catches Moros's big-ass eye. Two people peeking around a wall. Seems to be a nerd and the blonde boy. Moros thinks to himself that brats are so persistent. The two kids are on call. The person on the call wants to know what is going on. The blonde kid staring tells the person, "They're watching close. They'll keep up in touch." Back at the school, Scarface and his buddies, Daegu is trying to find out what they said through the call. Scarface says that they're still following the sucker, and that the blondie is finally doing his part, Daegu, as he flicks his cigarette, says they should get going. They say, "Let's go," walking out like the Avengers. A different location. Around tall brick buildings and factories in an alley. Cassian is stepping. The blonde boy says, "Damn it. That bastard, why would he come to this area?" Knowing that the area he is going to is a Ville zone. "Hey!" Someone yelled from the back, startling the thug. Blonde boy started hyperventilating, then said, "Damn you, you scared me." The nerd boy looked startled, but not as bad as the blonde one. Daegu screams back, saying, "What did you just say to me? Look at this ugly-ass face." Blondie said that's not what he meant. Scarface tells him, "Where is he at?" Reaching his hand, pointing, stuttering over his words, says, "Oh, over there." He turned his head to realize no one was there. One of them sarcastically said, "Right, look at all those people there." Blonde boy was sure of himself that he was just right there a moment ago. Nerd boy screamed out he went around the corner. They all said to hurry up before they lose him. Blonde yelling at them, trying to warn them that it's a Ville zone. Man's losing his shit, but either way continues to go with them. Going deeper in the Ville zone, the group are now walking. Daegu says, "Where'd he go?" "They came up on a dead end." Scarface turns back, saying, "You sure he came this way?" Nerd not sure anymore. Daegu starts walking up to Nerd boy, irritated, saying, "What the hell? Are you kidding me?" As he kicks him right on the leg, making him drop a little. Thinking they are playing a joke on him or something, someone from behind Nerd boy says, "You looking for me?" All of them looked surprised, even though they were just looking at that direction. Cassian, wanting all the smokes, tells them, "He's right here." A camera starts to operate, overlooking the situation. Looks to be controlled by someone. It's Cassian on a monitor. There is music playing in the background. Seems to be a studio. Got a whole lot of monitors around. Somebody with a screwdriver tapping with it. Driver, the supposed serial killer we heard about from the students. He grins, happy to have guessed. If we can get the amount of likes shown here, I will upload next episode as soon as I can. Please leave any feedback on the comments below. So with that, I want to say, thanks for watching. Hoped you enjoyed. See you guys later.